Caitlin, I'm sorry I couldn't make it to the studio today. There's lots of traffic. How was Raw last week anyway?
It was shit.
Sorry, having a bit of bad signal. What was that? How was it?
It was shit.
One more time. I think I got it this time.
It was shit.
You're fucking lying.
My fellow Marks, and welcome to the Mark Remark, the most K-fabulous wrestling-based internet series on the internet. My name's Martin, and lately I've had some sunny days, my friend. This week on Cena's XLR, the show opened as every thrilling wrestling product should, with a man staring at a telephone. Triple H is in a conference call with Kane, explaining that he won't be there to start Raw as his flight has been delayed. This is presumably because he took an hour before getting on the plane to cut a promo on in-flight safety, and then insisted on pinning the guy flying the plane as he didn't think he made a credible pilot. Stephanie gets audibly angry at the flight attendant and threatens to do to her what Vince McMahon wouldn't have the balls to do to his own employees.
Don't make me learn your name.
Speaking of things the McMahons would never do, Triple H tells Kane to be professional tonight and not go after Seth Rollins. Yes, Kane, we're trying to hype up your match with him at the pay-per-view next week. The last thing we need right now is the two of you interacting. So unprofessional. Kane calls over a stage manager. Or is she?
You're a stage manager, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. Please inform...
Kane tells her to make tonight's main event him versus Seth Rollins in a lumberjack match. I could not be more lumberjacked for this match. I'm going to go lumberjack off just thinking about it. Too much? No? Okay, good. Snow White calls to all her woodland friends, including animated rodent Dean Ambrose, who comes down to the ring and speaks to us in a series of squeaks and grunts.
I mean, come on, Hunter, it's 8 o'clock Eastern Time, we're live, let's go! Anyway.
Dean says that tonight, the inmates will be running the asylum. Dean. Not a good plan. Deluded maniacs with no grip on reality in charge of booking a wrestling product? What is this, WCW?
Anyway.
Fuck you, it was funny. Dean sets our minds at ease.
But don't worry, as you can see, I ain't wearing a tie.
Thank God. Dean says that he's an actions speak louder than words kind of guy, which is why he came out here to talk about it. Using words. Randy Orton arrives and thrills the crowd by telling them that he lives in St. Louis, and then after the show he's going to drive there and go to sleep. Okay, whoa! All that information, and you haven't even told us what we really want to know. Are you wearing a tie or not? Randy says that if anyone should share in his smoldering indifference to everything, it's Dean.
But if there's anyone in the locker room, anyone at all, that I think I might be able to see eye to eye with on an issue such as this one, Dean, I think you're the guy.
I thought Kofi Kingston was the guy. There can't possibly be two guys. Randy says the only way to beat the Wyatts is if Dean follows his lead.
I'm just not real good at taking direction.
That would explain your performance in 12 rounds 3.
Anyway.
Okay, you know what? The two of them spend the next 15 minutes arguing about things because Dean Ambrose is an actions speak louder than words kind of guy, and then the New Day come out to add even more words to the non-action. Xavier Woods, not wearing a tie, boasts that last week the New Day did what previously only WWE management could do: destroy Dolph Ziggler. Then Kofi Kingston, also not wearing a tie, has this to say:
We took them back to Dudleyville and turned Dudleyville into a retirement community.
Well, that hardly seems fair. Bubba Ray just came from TNA. The New Day run down an abbreviated list of all the groups that Randy Orton's been a part of, which takes up about the next 45 minutes of TV time. And not only did New Day do the unthinkable last week and lay out John Cena, this week they one-up themselves and do the impossible: make Randy Orton express an emotion other than benign rage. Xavier Woods says something about local sports teams, a concept that confuses and annoys Dean Ambrose.
Like Derrick Rose just going, sit on the bitch.
Corporate Kane, wearing a tie, channels Dr. Nick Riviera.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Corporate Kane. Kane challenges New Day to prove that they are indeed the bestest wrestling team of all time ever by taking on the unbreakable alliance of Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton, two men who have barely ever teamed up together. Like, ever. Yeah, that'll be one for the record books. The New Day take on the Tireless Wonders, and Michael Cole is so excited by the match that he turns into a baby Frankenstein.
Ambrose and Orton meet Braun Strowman and Luke Harper at Hell in a Cell.
The announcers hype the upcoming tag team title match at Hell in a Cell, where the Dudleys could become 10-time tag team champions.
In defense of the Dudleys, that man Xavier Woods has played a key role in making sure that the Dudleys have not been able to win the titles.
Great defense there, Michael. The Dudleys have struggled to get the titles because their opponents exist. Michael Cole, Ace Attorney. In my client's defense, Your Honor, he did kill a lot of people. Michael Cole attempts to update the audience on tonight's thrilling Kane looks at a telephone storyline, but is rudely interrupted.
Again, if you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, the Authority, Stephanie and Triple H. Look at the rhythm of Big E.
The jiggling begins.
Sorry, what?
The jiggling begins.
Come again?
The jiggling begins. Anyway.
Thank you. The announce team revisits the history of Kane's character as it has developed throughout the years.
You're seeing great continuity here.
Hey, are you?
Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton managed to put aside their vaguely established differences and managed to exist as a team. Meanwhile, Big E gyrates at the announce team.
This is uncomfortable to watch.
Yes, several decades of watching half-naked men try to grab each other's dicks, but this is awkward. The commentary team express consternation over Xavier Woods' constant commentary conflict over their own comments. Communism!
How annoying is that, man?
He doesn't stop.
Man has a lot to say, guys. I'd imagine you and him in the same room. Wow, that'd be awesome.
Yes, I can imagine it actually, because it's happening right fucking now. Kofi Kingston gets the pin, proving once again that he is the guy, and none of this Dean Ambrose shit. Backstage, an intense staring contest has broken out between Kane and a telephone. But what's this? Oh shit, a coffee mug has interfered in the match. Decaffeination X has reunited here tonight. We learn that the official theme for Hell in a Cell is Shinedown's Cut the Cord, which is what they should really do to Kane's telephone, so we don't have to put up with any more of that nonsense. Brock Lesnar couldn't make it to the show tonight, so instead, here's one of his tweets. I, for one, can't wait for the vicious fight between Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, where Taker will stoop so low as to unfollow Brock's Instagram account. The balls it would take! Michael Cole promotes Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker as a feud 13 years in the making, and then we cut to a montage of their feud that begins in 2014. So be sure to watch this episode of Raw in the year 2027, so that Michael Cole will be accurate for once. The feud is presented in chapters. Chapter 1 is called The Shock, referring to everybody's collective shock that Brock Lesnar is still employed at this point. Chapter 2 ended with Brock getting his hand chopped off and learning that The Undertaker is his real father. Meanwhile, the New Day travel to Tatooine to rescue Zack Ryder. And the final chapter involves Brock going to hell. And if the Friday the 13th films are anything to go by, the next chapter should involve Brock traveling to space and becoming a cyborg so that he can send Freddy Krueger to Suplex City.
Anyway.
Motherfucker! What could possibly follow that epic retelling of a destructive, cataclysmic rivalry that threatens to tear apart the very concept of brutality? The fucking Bellas. The fucking Bellas could follow it. Hot off the heels of Sasha Banks' main event at NXT that had earned her the respect of her peers and captivated audiences everywhere, the WWE decides to capitalize on this by having Sasha Banks do fuck all. Outside the ring. That's not even a lumberjack match. Speaking of respect and ability, Naomi grinds her ass into Nikki Bella's face. The announce team captures the intensity of the Divas Revolution with their revolutionary commentary.
Oh, look at this, Naomi. Oh, and Nikki.
Jim Ross, eat your heart out. Raw is sponsored by Payday, which means we have to endure a horrendous man on the street segment where Byron Saxton asks WWE fans who is the most unconventional member of their roster.
Dean Ambrose.
Why?
He's just really strange.
You're quite right, small child. Having a personality is very strange.
I'm gonna go with my girl Paige, for obvious reasons.
You're quite right. Not only is she gorgeous, but she's extremely adept at wrestling, and she presents herself as the anti-diva, which is the very definition of controversial, which is why she's the perfect choice to...
She's got blue hair and she's amazing.
Right. The blue hair. Yeah, that's also part of it. So there you have it. Paige is indeed crowned the most unconventional diva in this surprisingly long commercial. What's that? This is part of the program. This is something that aired on a wrestling product. You're fucking lying. Paige steals a payday bar from Byron Saxton and then kisses it. Speaking of things that would drive me to murder, John Cena is here, everybody. The fans sing John Cena sucks to his theme music, and John proves that he's a good sport by dancing with them and laughing it off. No, you fools! He's feeding off your hatred! You're just making him stronger, whiter, more PG-13! John Cena tells us why he loves the All-State Arena so much.
Your noise is passion.
Oh, is that what you've been hearing this whole time? Passion. Hang on, let me try something. I'm going to turn on the John Cena subtitles for the hearing impaired. Here we go. Boo. I said boo. You suck. Oh, come on, that's not even close to what I said. Dolph Ziggler finally accepts John Cena's US title open challenge after the sudden retconning of his angle with Lana. Don't worry, Dolph. When one door closes, another one opens. And then John Cena slams that one in your face. Dolph isn't going to let Rusev's proposal to Lana upstage his performance in this great match, so he lets a random fan's proposal to his girlfriend upstage him in this match instead.
I told you we make history here at Allstate. She said yes, we got a married couple here tonight.
In John Cena's world, a proposal means instant marriage. No wonder he's so terrified of it. Cena and Ziggler are engaged in a physical flurry of wrestling moves, which in John Cena's universe means that they are married in a physical flurry of wrestling moves. John Cena starts to show signs of fatigue, and JBL offers his expert analysis.
Now that jet lag is catching up to John Cena. Look at him.
Ah yes, the jet lag is beating John Cena, not the other human being punching and slapping him in the ring for the last 20 minutes. It's actually because of all the travel he's been doing. I can't wait for John Cena's inevitable feud with Daylight Savings Time. Be sure to tune in an hour early for that one. Cena kicks out of a second rope DDT, causing Stone Cold Steve Austin to get out of his armchair and throw a brick through the television. Dolph puts up a good fight, but unfortunately for him, he is not John Cena. John Cena, however, is John Cena, so he gets the win. JBL and Michael Cole put the final note on this outstanding performance.
All I can say is give it up for Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, but you can't take anything away from John.
Oh, you mean the super famous former world champion who just won the match and retained his title? No, I'd imagine you can't. Kane is on the phone with the Authority, who still managed to take up most of the TV time without actually appearing on the product. The Dudleys are ready to take on the Ascension, but they're too busy doing classic Dudley things like bro-fisting each other and giving each other high fives to notice their opponents double-teaming them. Classic Dudleys.
Yeah, Bubba Ray loves to have fun.
Yeah, like that one time when he powerbombed a defenseless old woman through a table? What a prankster! WWE Hell in a Cell is sponsored by WWE 2K16, the video game. A game that pays homage to the Divas Revolution by having exactly none of the revolutionary divas in it. A bunch of people who aren't from America fight. But who cares? They're not from here. They probably don't even have local sports teams where they come from. Parents of giant muscular infant Braun Strowman are so proud of their baby that they show us a home video of his first words.
I'm your destruction.
Oh, the widow boy Strowman. Michael Cole attempts to introduce Roman Reigns.
Ladies.
And then JBL pulls the rug out from under everything.
Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt will step inside Hell in a Cell to end their rivalry. Finally, one-on-one.
Right, because that one-on-one match they had on pay-per-view never happened. And neither did the main event on Raw 2 weeks ago. Not a thing. Somebody somewhere thought it was a good idea to give Roman Reigns access to a microphone tonight.
Well, it feels good to be back in Chicago, baby.
Oh, hey, off to a good start, being in a place and then saying the name of the place. That's typically a very effective way of getting the crowd on your side.
I was taken out by a guy who was not even in the match. Well, y'all can't hear me or something?
Oh dear. Roman recaps the riveting feud between himself and the Wyatt family. Riveting's another word for shit, right?
So I called up Ambrose and it was on.
No, sorry. He meant to say it was yawn. Roman turns into a 5th grader performing in the school play.
And the war kept going on, and some weeks I got my ass handed to me. But that's the past now. That's water under the bridge. What really...
Psst, Roman, your line is, believe that. Roman. The crowd chants for Danny Doring. Either that or they're chanting boring. But that would be weird.
Now, hey, Chicago, this ain't boring, baby. This is real life.
Yes, that's how you get the crowd back on your side, Roman, by insulting their intelligence. I can't wait for the real-life main event of this real-life wrestling product where the world's champion will take on a magical demon who likes coffee. Roman gives a Superman punch to our heartstrings by talking about his family, which is exactly what you should do. Humanize the giant, sweaty, muscular man in riot gear. Poor Roman! How is he supposed to protect his family? Beat up the guy who's trying to beat him up? But how?
Think about that. Imagine yourself in my shoes. Think of somebody trying to stop you from doing the things for your loved ones.
Ah yes, the things. My wife loves it when I do the things.
Bray Wyatt, Hell in the Cell, I am going to rip you apart.
Roman, your line is, I'm related to The Rock. Roman. The Wyatt family comes out and Michael Cole is prepared with this soundbite.
Bray Wyatt, Roman.
Psst, Michael, your line is, vintage Wyatt family. Michael. Roman Reigns takes on the world's most intimidating Shaun the Sheep cosplayer, who is super pissed off because it turns out that thing he thought was an airplane wasn't an airplane at all. It was his mother's hand holding baby food in a spoon. Talk about betrayal. Roman charges headlong into blown Snow Queen, but it has zero effect.
Reigns is sensing weakness.
Oops, turns out the weakness that he was sensing was his own mic skills. Roman ultimately wins via countout, once more allowing him to do the things for his loved ones. The Wyatts try to attack Roman after the match, but Roman Reigns, master of strategy, outwits them by walking slowly in the other direction.
I think Roman won the mind games war tonight.
Ah yes, the mind games of physically assaulting a man. So psychological. Kane, the demonic brother of The Undertaker who was once almost burned to death, continues to look at a telephone. Triple H's phone connection is about as strong as Roman Reigns' connection with the Chicago fans.
We've got bad.
Psst, Triple H, your line is, am I fucking going over? Triple H. Ruback takes on Rusev, and the announcers acknowledge the fact that TMZ totally ruined their current storyline with Rusev and Summer Rae by reporting on Lana and Rusev's engagement, which is a shame because that angle was going so well. And now it's just boring.
This ain't boring, baby. This is real life.
Except in this case, it actually is. Byron Saxton champions the Divas Revolution.
I don't even understand why Summer's out here.
It's like she's relevant or something. After the match, Summer Rae gets on the mic and outdoes Roman Reigns by cutting an actually intense promo on Rusev. But why is she even out here? I mean... Kevin Owens defeats Kalisto, and then Team CBeebies takes on Team Bella in a match that may as well be background noise as the focus is entirely on Paige. Not that I'm complaining.
PCB is not over yet. Did anyone say it was over, Michael?
Well, certainly not the dirt sheets. The Divas Revolution continues to mirror the historical American Revolution, where George Washington and King George III constantly argued over who came up with the idea for the revolution and made fun of how unpopular their opponent was rather than actually doing anything. They also hit each other with their butts a lot. Paige says she's only going after Becky and Charlotte because they need to be brought back down to earth.
Did someone do that for you, Paige, when you came up here for the first time? Bring you back down to earth?
Well, yes, but we're not allowed to talk about her or her husband anymore. Charlotte loses to Brie Bella after Nikki Bella interferes behind the referee's back. She also interferes behind the entire world's back, as the announcers don't even acknowledge that she did it. If a Bella goes to hit her move in the woods and nobody's around to take it, does it still botch? JBL interrogates Paige.
So if you'd have been there, Paige, that wouldn't have happened.
No, if I would have been there...
Psst. Paige, your line is, yes, I will marry you, Martin. Paige. Stephanie McMahon berates Kane over the phone, chastising him for putting himself in the main event. I know, right? That would be like Stephanie inserting herself into an angle that has absolutely nothing to do with her. Huh. Triple H tells Kane to find somebody else to put in the main event instead of him, and then the segment ends with the camera slowly zooming in on an empty coffee mug while the crowd chants CM Punk. Is this real life?
This is real life.
Oh, thank you. Seth Rollins has a backstage heart-to-heart with The Big Show, thanking him for being so entertaining and watchable for the last 5 years.
Yeah, you got a great sense of humor, you really do.
Yeah, you got me, Big Show. Corporate Kane rolls Seth informing that he will not be Seth's opponent tonight. Instead, Seth's opponent will be shitty storytelling. Let's see who wins. The Balrog Lesnar-Undertaker video package is shown once again in full, because what are ratings again? The younger versions of Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, and The Undertaker are traveling forward in time to Raw next week, and then it's time for our main event lumberjack match. A bunch of familiar faces and Jack Swagger make their way down to the ring to do the traditional fuck all. Seth Waitings rolls for his mystery opponent, and then Michael Cole's terrified reaction summarizes the arrival of the satanic monstrous beast Kane. No. You summoned Satan all wrong. God, it's like working with a bunch of amateurs. Start over and do it right this time. Jeez. The Lumberjacks scramble desperately to keep Seth inside the ring, while the announce team scrambles desperately to stop the bottom from falling out of this plot.
Triple H told Corporate Kane he couldn't be in this matchup. He didn't say anything about Demon Kane.
Yes, and Vince McMahon said to not let this episode be a bunch of bullshit. He said nothing about horse shit. Big Show slowly walks out of the match, quoted later as saying, "I am not a lumberjack, and I am not okay." The Lumberjacks all crawl inside the ring and then start contributing to the match, which is the exact opposite of what's supposed to happen in a lumberjack match. You might as well just call it a match at this point. Load of bullshit! The Lumberjacks all pile on Kane, but fortunately for him, the hill where Jesus was crucified is here to lend a hand.
And here comes the cavalry!
Cavalry. It's really not that hard. Kane fights off half the locker room and then manages to pin the world's champion totally clean. What a great plot twist! You see, we all thought Corporate Kane was the demon, but it turns out that the booking team was the demon all along.
Anyway.
Fight me!
The jiggling begins.